Hey, Emily Hirsh here. Welcome back to my channel. This is where I share real and raw stories about being a CEO, a mom, and life in general. I have built a multi-seven-figure company in 5 years, and I've made a lot of mistakes. So today I'm gonna share with you the biggest mistakes and lessons I've learned while I built my company so that maybe you can avoid making those mistakes. So let's dive into the biggest lessons I have learned while building my company. The first lesson that is the most important, hands down, is the importance of focus. And let me tell you, you're probably gonna have a lot of people tell you this. And I remember I first started my company and I joined, once I was able to get to about $20,000 a month, I joined a pretty high level mastermind. And the first time I went to that mastermind, I remember the leader of that mastermind, who's a very big influencer, successful business owner, telling people, if you have multiple businesses, if you have your focus spread across, you need to cancel them. You need to go all in on one thing. And I remember sitting in the audience and thinking, well, I'm the exception to that. I can have multiple things because I'll be able to create success, and kind of ignoring it and being like, yeah, I mean, he's smart, but I think I can still do it. And not a lot of people know this, but I actually had multiple businesses. I started as a virtual assistant and then started doing Facebook ads. And throughout that, I thought, I'm going to start a course about how to be a virtual assistant. And I sold that course probably about $25, and it was $1,000. So it made $25,000, and I was trying to do both for a while. And I wouldn't really say that I went all in and took my business seriously until I stopped that virtual assistant academy I had and went all into my marketing company. And that decision alone completely skyrocketed my results. As a business owner, as an entrepreneur, if you haven't already experienced this, you will be completely bombarded with information, with coaches, with people giving you advice, with friends giving you advice, with books, with resources. There's an abundance of that out there. And the thing is, most of that information is actually really valuable. And people sharing their success or sharing what they think you should do, that's nice of them, and they're trying to help you. But the problem is that people take that and they get the shiny object syndrome. And the second you hear this new good idea, you're like, I have to go do it tomorrow. And then you leave what you've been working on and you go back to square one and you do that again. And you'll just constantly have that bombardment. And so the success comes from you knowing what you're going to focus on versus not. And if you look at any successful company, if I look at any successful entrepreneur that I follow and I look up to, or even a huge story like Nike or Apple, they were very focused. Opportunity is not the problem for entrepreneurs. It's what are you going to choose to go all in on? And that could mean for you today, you should have one funnel, one main strategy, one main platform you're trying to maximize, one main offer, and definitely one business until you make your first $1 million. So I challenge you guys listening to this to take a step back and look at your business and ask yourself, what is the one thing that I could do going into the next month, going into the next quarter, that if I did that, it would make the biggest impact on my success? And then have the discipline to actually say no to the ideas that come your way, or no, not right now, maybe in the future, so you can stay hyper-focused on creating that success you're trying to create. The second lesson that I've learned while building my business is that my time as a CEO is more valuable than I will ever give myself credit for. If you're anything like me, you jump in and solve problems. If something is a problem and you don't have a process for it in your business, or somebody needs help, you're the first to volunteer. I'll just do it. I'll just take care of it. If you aren't hitting your revenue goals yet, or you're afraid of having payroll expenses, you'll take on all the burden. You'll keep trying to do all the things, and you won't really think twice about it because your time, you don't value it the same. You're probably faster and better at doing most things in your company. So right now, if you're somebody who's trying to grow your business and it's at the very beginning, or you have a business, you've been growing it, I want you to just evaluate how you're spending your time. And is it strategic? Because like I said, it's very easy for you to step in and do everything. But before you know it, you're doing all this tactical day-to-day things and you have zero time for strategic thinking. Now, it's going to depend where you are. If you're obviously starting out compared to have a current $1 million business, you're going to be spending your time differently. And that's one thing that I feel like people out there don't talk about enough, is what somebody does at the beginning of their business is different than what somebody does when they've made it to 6 or 7 figures. And so if you go listen to people at 6 or 7 figures and you say, I'm going to go do exactly what they're doing, but I have made $0 or I've made $100, that's not going to serve you the best in your business. But you still need to be strategic with your time. So whether you are a brand new business owner, you are a 6-figure, 7-figure, 8-figure business owner, I want you to think about, what is the value of your time? Is it $100 an hour? Is it $1,000 an hour? How much would you value your time? And then look at what you're doing every day. Are you doing a bunch of admin work that you could pay someone $15 to $20 to do, and then you could put your time into more strategic work? And actually think through that and look at, I am spending 5 hours a day doing admin, basic things that I could hire a virtual assistant for help for. And you're thinking in your head, that's saving me money because I don't have to hire help. But is it really? Because it's probably costing you money, because that time is going to admin $15 to $20 an hour work versus strategic $500, $1,000 work that you can put into your business. Until you really value and are willing to strategically look at how you spend your time, your business is going to struggle to grow. You're going to feel like you're on this hamster wheel and you're not making any progress. So today, right now, take a step back, analyze how you're spending your time, and make a decision if there needs to be a change there. This third lesson is probably my favorite, because if I could go back and tell myself this, it would save so much. And that is, you're never going to make it. There is no such thing. As soon as you get to one goal, you're going to have another goal out there that you're trying to shoot for. And if you're anything like me, I'm very much a perfectionist. So I would find myself getting overwhelmed by all the things that are broken or I'm not doing, or somebody gave me an idea and I should implement this and it feels like I'm failing. As soon as you realize that being an entrepreneur is 100% about the journey and not the destination, and that you're never going to be satisfied. Like, as soon as you meet your goal, you're like, all right, what's next? That's the case for most entrepreneurs. So accepting that you're never going to make it and things will never be perfect is going to save you so much anxiety and overwhelm. Because what we do as entrepreneurs is we are chasing this, I've got to make it to this level, and then I can prioritize my health, and then I can be with my kids, and then I can hire support. But you're never going to, once you get there, there's another thing that you're going to have to pay attention to. It doesn't matter if you've made $0, $1 million, $30 million. There's always something that you're fixing. There's always something that you're working towards. That's why we're here. That's the game of business. And so the main thing is to make sure that doesn't actually stop your growth. Because what I see so many entrepreneurs do is they use that as an excuse to actually not do growth things like hiring help or taking care of themselves, because they're trying to get to a certain level. So making sure that you accept that journey and you accept that you will never make it. You'll of course achieve your goals. You're of course going to get to the level that you want to do. But as soon as you get to that level where you want to be, there will be something else that you're shooting for. And so if you're using that as an excuse to wait to do strategic things, you're going to always be chasing that. One of my favorite sayings is that there's always going to be balls in the air. You just have to make sure you're not dropping the glass ones. I absolutely love that, and I think that makes us all feel more normal. And let's be real, we'd all be so bored if there was nothing to fix in our business or nothing to do. So accepting that, and then true leadership and entrepreneurship comes in when you're able to focus on what are those glass balls? What's going to make the biggest difference in your business? Because you all could fill your week with 60 hours of things to do that feel productive, and you have to decide what's going to move the needle the most. So these are just some of the things that I've learned and lessons I've learned through mistakes and through actually losing out on money because I didn't accept this sooner. Like that story of me in the mastermind thinking I was the exception to all these 7- and 8-figure business owners, and I could do it. I could have multiple businesses, but they couldn't. The sooner you realize that, the better your results are going to be, and the sooner you accept that. So I'm actually diving in deeper on this and talking about the things I would tell myself 5 years ago. That's going to come out next week. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys then.